Hello, dear learners. This is Dr. Kaveri, Professor, Department of Political Science, Christo Jayanti College. Today, I'm going to explain you something about the League of Nations, like how the League of Nations came into existence, what are its objectives, its organs, and its functions. So, these are the topics that I'm going to cover in this topic today. So, as all of you know, that League of Nations has come into existence in January 1920. But what were the basic reasons behind the formation of the League of Nations? So, the entire world was been devastated due to the First World War, which has shaken the conscience of humanity and which gave a new awareness to the nations of the world in the form of feeling that a war is the worst method to settle the international disputes. So, as a result, we have American President Woodrow Wilson, who took up a lead. He took up an initiative, and then he came up with 14-point peace program. So, the covenant was incorporated in the Treaty of Versailles, which was being signed on 28th June 1919. So, basically, we say that American President Woodrow Wilson, what he gave, the 14-point peace program and the Treaty of Versailles, were the base for the formation of the League of Nations. Now, let's look into what are the objectives of the League of Nations. Okay, so we say the objectives are to promote international peace and security, not to resort to war, to promote international cooperation, to settle disputes between countries through negotiation and diplomacy, and to have just, open, and honorable relations between the nations. Now, let's talk about the membership. So, when we talk about the membership, that is the Treaty of Versailles, all the countries who have participated in the Treaty of Versailles, who have signed this, are being considered as the members of the League of Nations. So, we say that the Treaty of Versailles was signed by 31 countries out of 32, and the 32nd was China. So, subsequently, by 1935, we can see that the strength of the League of Nations increased to 62. So like Germany became the member of the League of Nations in 1926, but then later Hitler left its membership. Then USSR also became the member, and later again it left in the year 1934. So that means to say that the initial 31 countries were the standard, and thereafter all the countries, over the period of time, they started joining and they started withdrawing their membership. So there was also a provision which was being framed, like how a country can withdraw their membership or terminate their membership from the League of Nations. So there were certain rules here. The rules are like any member of the League, if they want to withdraw, they have to give a prior notice of 2 years. Like let us say, for example, now this is 2022. Okay, if the country want to terminate their membership, okay, in the coming 2 years, so like if they want to terminate their membership from 24, that means in this year itself they have to give a notice stating that they don't want to continue with the League of Nations anymore. So this is one. And the other provision is the state which could not agree to any amendment of the covenant would automatically lose their membership. Okay, or else you have the third option, that we call it as expel those member states which indulge in the violation of the covenant. That is, if the member countries are not following the covenants, in that situations also they can be terminated. So it is auto termination. And after that, we have a logo. Now, what is a logo of League of Nations? So the League of Nations initially had neither an official flag nor an logo. So there were a lot of proposals which have been adopted from time to time, like from 1920 onwards, because the League of Nations was being formed in 1920. So 1920 onwards, they were working on to have a suitable flag and a logo for the League of Nations, but frequent discussions, everything happened, but they couldn't reach up to a conclusion. Finally, in 1939, a semi-official emblem emerged, and this semi-emblem, you can see that it's a 2 5-pointed stars within a blue pentagon. This was adopted, and the pentagon and the 5-pointed stars were supposed to symbolize the 5 continents and the 5 races of the mankind. So in a bow on top, and of the bottom the logo had the names in English, which is written as League of Nation. So when we talk about the languages that were being spoken under the League of Nations, so official languages, initially there were three official languages which were being adopted. One is we had French, and then English, and then Spanish, and later on we have Esperanto was also being chosen later as a working language of the League of Nations. Now let's talk about the organs of the League of Nations. So when we see the organs of the League of Nations, initially League had only three organs. So one we call it as Assembly, other one we call it as a Council, and the third one we call it as a Secretariat. League also had certain subsidiary and auxiliary organs, like we have Permanent Court of International Justice, and then we have International Labour Organization, and we have a mandate system. So I'll just quickly tell you what exactly these organs are. So like say the first one that we have is the Assembly. So the Assembly consists of all the representatives of the League, like as I told you in the very beginning. So it had initially it had 31 members, and then it became 32, and then over the period of time it increased to 62. So all the members who are the members of League of Nations by default become the members of the Assembly as well. Okay, so that's what we say, that it consists of the representatives of the members of the League, and each member state is allowed to send the three representatives. However, all the three representatives are going to have one vote, and Assembly keep meeting, used to have a session once in a year, and in case of any emergency they were supposed to go for the additional session, or you can also call it as a special session. And Assembly used to elect its own chairperson, referred as the presiding officer. So that was about the Assembly. And coming to the Council, so Council is considered to be one of the most important body of the League of Nations. You can also call it like an executive body. It consisted of permanent members and non-permanent members and ad hoc representatives also. So the permanent members were like initially it was UK, France, Italy and Japan, and later on you can see that Soviet Union and Germany also became the permanent members. So that was about the Council. However, each member of the Council had only one vote and could send only one representatives. Okay, and in the beginning of every session, the president and the number of vice presidents were being elected, and council used to meet thrice in a year, and again, as I said, in case of any emergency, they were in a position to go for the third session. However, the difference here between a League of Nations and UNO is that UNO's permanent members do have a veto power, but the permanent members of the League of Nations never had the veto power. So that was about the council. And let's talk about the secretariat. So when we talk about the secretariat, so secretariat is been headed by the Secretary General, and who is being appointed by the council on the approval of the General Assembly. And the headquarter of the secretariat is situated at Geneva. Okay, and now when we talk about the subsidiary and the auxiliary organs, so we have the first, as I said, the Permanent Court of International Justice. So the Permanent Court of International Justice consists of 15 judges, and there were lots of changes happened over the period of time. So earlier there were 11 full-fledged judges and 4 deputy judges, but in 1930 the number of the judges were being increased to 15, and that became a standstill, and these judges were being appointed for the period of 9 years. However, they were eligible for the reappointment. Okay, and then we come to the next one, that is we have International Labour Organization. Now, International Labour Organization's main object is to improve production and provide better conditions of service to the working classes. The members of the League also were the members of the International Labour Organization, and it is a governing body which consisted of 32 members. Okay, and then we talk about the next one is mandate system. Now, the problem, what exactly is this mandate system is, soon after the First World War, you can find that there was an entire change in the political map. Okay, and the problems relating to the territories which the Allied powers had conquered from Germany and Turkey during the First World War forced the League of Nations to accept the mandate system. So, as it was neither possible to make the annexed territories to free the state, nor it was possible to allow these territories to given as a complete freedom. So, as a solution to this problem, these territories were being put under the guardianship of the League of Nations. So, it is called as a mandate system, and because there were certain courts were being given the mandate system to administrate the conquered territories, and all the all the territories were being organized into the three groups, like we had class A, class B and class C. So when we talk about class A, this includes those of the Turkish Empire, which include like Iraq, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Transjordan, Israel, etc. And we had class B. This includes like German African colonies, which includes like Cameroon, Thailand, Rwanda, Urundi, etc. And class C included those territories of Southwest Africa like Samoa and Nauru. So these were the things which they have tried to give a temporary solution, though it was not a permanent, but then they tried to bring the situation under control through the process of the mandate system. Now let's look into what are the functions of the League of Nations. So the very first function that we call is to promote international cooperation and to achieve world peace and security, and then to formulate plans for establishing a system to regulate arrangements and to use such arrangements for enforcement actions under its authority, to maintain international relations by friendly relations through mutual understanding and partnership among the member states, then to assist in settlement of disputes amicably and without resort to war. The next we have is to preserve external aggression against the territorial integrity and exercising political independence of all member states of the League of Nations. And then we have again functions relating to the mandate systems, and we have functions relating to the protection of minorities, administrative function, and the socio-economic and humanitarian function. So that's it for the day. I hope you understood. If you have any queries, kindly post the message about related to your queries. Thank you once again.